laundry, found in the city directory had existed as early as the 1880 or something. So a lot of people call my father Sam, because he runs family laundry, so they must be Sam. Well, actually, Sam Lee is not a man named Sam Lee. It's just sort of a concept. It's a sort of a glorious name, sort of like, oh, profitable laundry, or make a lot of money, or something. Sing Lee and Sam Lee were the most common Chinese laundry names in the whole country. And both of them had something to do with, like, there was one of them, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was Forever Victorious. I had people translate these into Chinese, and so you see the same. So it was really important to me in terms of learning Chinese identity to see these other Chinese. Although I had this misconception in a way that all Chinese ran laundries. I mean, I didn't know any Chinese who did anything else. I didn't really give it a lot of thought, but it's sort of like in your unconscious, or you kind of think that way, which you can sort of see is not a good thing to think. That you need to see people in other lines of work to give you some sort of model or role model. The only Chinese character that I ever saw in the media, and you have to realize, I know there were others, but I never saw Charlie Chan, and I never saw Fu Manchu, and those kinds of things, so I was totally ignorant of those. But there was a comic book that I liked. It's called Black Hawk. And Black Hawk was sort of like the Magnificent Seven, or these are like, the vigilantes, or, the 7 characters, as I recall, and they had blue uniforms, and they had an emblem on the front with a hawk on it. And these guys would go and do battle with the evildoers. They would go and fight corruption or whatever. And they had one Chinese character. He didn't have a blue uniform and a gun, and he didn't have his own plane. Chop Chop was kind of a caricature of a Chinese person, short and very stubby. He wore a Chinese jacket. He had a pigtail, and he didn't have a gun, but he had his meat cleaver. And so when they go out after attacking people, he would come out with his meat cleaver and attack. So obviously, on the one hand, I was kind of glad to see there was a Chinese character, but on the other hand, it was a very, admirable one. And they would go and fight. I could see as a child the huge disparities, and the white and the colored bus station entrances, bathroom entrances. But I especially remember the drinking fountains, the white and the colored. And I remember on probably more than one occasion when I was very small, I would go and get water out of the dime store at the Crest. It had the best water in town. It was the coldest, you know how it is on hot days. Other 5 and dime stores, which I loved to frequent, their water was lousy. So I'd go to Crest's. It was a white and it was colored. To me, it was a 50-50, so I probably, went to the colored one. And some white person would come over and tap me on the shoulder and kind of guide me. And they didn't give me a lecture, but they sort of moved me over to the white fountain. So that's how I knew I was kind of white, and I knew, there was this unconscious instruction: don't drink from the colored fountain. For these purposes, I probably look around, go to Chinatown. There are all these Chinese people. I've never seen so many Chinese people in my life. But in a way, they're different kind of Chinese, in the sense that they grew up together in a Chinese community. They're very tight-knit. Many of them, went to Chinese school in the evening and so forth. And so they were very kind of clannish, cliquish, or whatever. And so I had to learn how to be Chinese all over again. I thought I was Chinese, but I was and I wasn't. I suddenly learned all kinds of things that were interesting and different. And so on the one hand, I had to get them to accept me, And in a way, I guess they liked me. So anyway, it was like two sides. On the one hand, I had to somehow, become part of them. But on the other hand, at times I kind of felt like I didn't want to associate only with them. I had been used to this community, very tight-knit. Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. That's very interesting you bring it up. Yeah, when I first moved to San Francisco, my mother thought, okay, you need to go to Chinese school. Okay, there was a church up the street. I went to there for maybe 2 or 3 lessons. I had 6 or 7 classmates that were all 6 and 7 years old, and I was 15. And they were writing and reading and, going circles around me, so I dropped out pretty quickly. That was my Chinese school experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Sorry that you gave it our best.